was muted. I can't be left to do anything alone anymore. I can't. I can't. I can't be left to do anything by myself. No technicals, no bad internet, no gremlins in the system, just literally on mute. That's it. That's it. Fleck, you've changed. I am a disgrace and a cheat. Basics. I've forgotten the basics. I do so much streams with so many other people and rarely do solos that I make schoolboy errors like that. That is a disgrace and a cheat. Do I have to start the whole? I have to start the whole bit again because you lot didn't hear what I said. Well, here's one for you. Try and work out what I said. Try and work out what I said from the silence that you saw and how my lips were moving. Try and work out what I said in the intro. Because like D Train says, sick intro though. Kevin says it happens a lot. Brother, you've been slacking on the basics in training, says JB. Exactly. Sanka says, I saw you pointing. Yeah, I was doing a lot of pointing. Basically, what I said was good morning. Welcome to the Transfer View. Welcome to United View. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I hope you're now calm after the epic comeback against Forest. And I also said, happy Monday. That's what I said. And then I realized that I was talking in silence. So, yes, it's now 2.5 minutes of the show, and you don't even know what we're going to be talking about. We are going to be talking about Scott McTominay, Ryan Gravenberch. Ryan Gravenberch swap deal. Should get Ajax and Sakby in right now, actually. Need them back again. There's a lot of talk about that. We're gonna get your views on that, and we're gonna dive into what's been said in the media last night / yesterday evening. Also, Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire reportedly is up for a loan move to West Ham now. He's changed his mind, and West Ham want to take him on loan. Manchester United not keen for that for obvious reasons. And also Sofian Amrabat with Samuel Luckhurst, Manchester Evening News, basically saying that Man United aren't really interested in him as much as people say they are. It's been overstated. The interest in him has been overstated. So we have got a lot to get through this morning. As you guys know, get in the chat. Everyone is already in the chat here, going crazy. Let me know what you think about all the topics as we go through them. And smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Straight from the top now, Scott McTominay, Ryan Gravenberch. Last night, Bild, which is a big outlet for everything Bayern Munich, they said that Bayern are considering Manchester United midfielder Scott McTominay as a loan target for the number 6 position in the remaining days of the market. Man United want the Scotsman to leave. In return, Gravenberch could join the Red Devils on loan. They also go on to say that a swap deal involving Scott McTominay and Ryan Gravenberch has been discussed. And our good friend Christian Falk, well, not my personal good friend, but, you know, Christian Falk, tick, true. He's back in the business. He's back in the building. He came through yesterday. And also confirmed that story as well. Says Bayern are interested in Scott McTominay on loan. A loan swap deal with Ryan Gravenberch is being discussed. And he also said, Ryan Gravenberch also said to, after the game, his comments. I don't know if he said it to Christian Falk, but Christian Falk kind of retweeted the quotes from Ryan Gravenberch. And Ryan Gravenberch after the game said, I don't know what will happen in the next days. Would you do it? Do you know what? Let's get a poll in the chat. Let's get a poll in the chat to start things off. Nice, interactive. Let's do that because I need to know what you guys are saying on this one, and then we're all going to have a chat about it. A lot of people, I put it out on social media last night, a lot of people were saying that they would. They said it's a no-brainer. There you go. Yes or no, arts and community. There you go. It's in the chat right now. Would you loan Ryan Gravenberch? Hell yeah. We've got Jason says, might as well. What's to lose? Says Star-Lord. What else have we got? Maguire. We're not on Maguire yet. People are still angry about Maguire. Bayern want McTominay, says Delish. McTominay is basically a rubbish Goretzka. 100% says Sophia's Football Talk. And yes, says Aria. A lot of yeses. A lot of yeses. Here's where I stand. I mean, when you hear it like that, you say yes. You say yes because look, Eric Ten Hag looks like he's made up his mind that he doesn't really rate Scott. Like, he'll bring him on for a bit of physicality, like he did yesterday on Saturday against Forest. He will use him in a couple of games where, you know, he thinks he can get about the pitch. But, you know, largely last year, it was a lot of substitute appearances for Scott McTominay. And he was also going to Fred more so than Scott McTominay. So I think Scott would have learned a lot from that. And then if you look at the beginning of this season, reluctant to bring him on against Wolves, or went to him really late. Didn't even bring him on, I don't think, against Spurs, I want to say. And then late in the day against Forest, just to try and see the game out when they went long. So on that, because Ten Hag doesn't want to use him, then we need another body. But I do think it depends on a lot, because I think this is really easy to just say yes. And Lil Yo-Yo has a question here. He says, is Gravenberch much better than McTominay? And I know some people may say, of course he is. Are you dumb? Are you crazy? Are you mad? Of course he is. But it has to be considered. Can Gravenberch get around the pitch? You know, is he physically strong? Is he good on the ball? And I think a lot of those answers to that questions are yes. Different type of profile. And like Ijack said yesterday, though, with Gravenberch, he was good at Ajax, like a lot of players are under Erik ten Hag. He's left to go to Bayern Munich. I think he started 6 games last year. Manchester Evening News did a piece on it, and they said, yeah, the 21-year-old started just 6 games last season, coming off the bench on 27 occasions. The midfielder was a substitute once again during Bayern's 3-1 win over Augsburg, coming on with 9 minutes to go with his side in control. So he's had a period of inactivity. Do you know what I mean? And Ajax said this yesterday off his own back. He said, look, if he does end up coming to Man United, don't expect wonders from him. Don't expect this kid to just come in and be the man. Don't just expect this kid to come in and boss midfields and be exactly what you've missing, like a breath of fresh air, because, again, he's going to need time. And it's going to be a short-term fix to what is a long-term problem. Bereska says, McTominay knows the Prem. Gravenberch will be injured for half the season. Well, that's strong. Show says people don't even know Gravenberch, but say he's sick. Jake says this deal would not be a game changer. And Cecido says just look at the profile between McTominay and Gravenberch. Gravenberch is miles ahead across the board. So it is quite a split on this one. It isn't like a 100% are you crazy, but I say that I say that, and the chat would suggest differently, because would you swap McTominay for Gravenberch? 90% of you lot, 90% say yes. First super chat of the day, Aminor. Big up to Aminor. Great to catch up with you the other day as well, bro. He says, Flex, the Ajax boys last night were solid. Yes, they were, and they always are. They always are solid. A lot of people are saying that 90% do it. And I just think that, for me, that comes more out of Erik ten Hag not wanting to use Scott McTominay anyway. You don't rate him. You don't rate him, so we're going to have to change it up. But also, and I know this is getting into the Amrabat situation, which, you know, that's third on the list, but just bringing it into this because we're talking midfield. Samuel Larkhurst is saying that, and I'm not saying that because he said it, that means it's gospel, but it was interesting that he was saying that figures at Man United are saying that, you know, Amrabat's unlikely. And if we're going to go and get Gravenberch, you still would say you need a player like Amrabat. Gravenberch isn't like Amrabat, really. I don't see it. Amrabat's a deeper line player, wants to collect the ball off the centre backs, and can get about the pitch and is robust in the tackle. Decent on the ball as well in terms of long range passing and setting a tempo side to side, can pass forward, yes. But Ryan Gravenberch I see as like a, I don't know, I'd say more of a box to box, but even slightly more attacking. I think Gravenberch is great on the half turn. He can drive with the ball. He's a ball carrier. I definitely think he's that. He is powerful. He's got great feet and he can get goals. But again, they're two different types. Gravenberch and Amrabat are the two that we would need. If we got Gravenberch, I need to know that we're getting Amrabat, and that isn't the case. Also, I think though on the flip side, what does help it is that it is a loan. So you're saying it's relatively low risk, but just in terms of impact in the Premier League, I don't know how much better is he going to be than McTominay at what McTominay does or what Gravenberch does. And I know people say, oh, this is the problem with this club, or McTominay's rubbish and all that stuff. But I'm just saying, we let Fred go. We don't want McTominay to play. And we've just been missing massive physicality and somebody who is aggressive in there and can carry the ball. I just think Gravenberch can tick some of those boxes, but the downside is that he's had a year of basically not playing. He's had a year of uncertainty, and he's young. He is very young and needs time. Stoic says McTominay is a much better player than Gravenberch. Show says Gravenberch and Amrabat elevate us. How much really? Question mark. And Starlord says, let's find out. Let's get Gravenberch and find out. And look, I wouldn't be against it. But I'm not super excited like a lot of people maybe seem to be with Gravenberch for McTominay. I don't know. I just feel like it does come with some risk. Everything comes with a risk. I understand that. But there are a few unknowns there. But look, if Ten Hag has decided that he doesn't want McTominay, then move him on. But think about this actually, guys. Let me ask you lot this. And I know that, there's loads of caveats to this. Someone said it earlier in the chat, yeah? Bayern Munich want McTominay then. It seems, yeah? Thomas Tuchel, Tommy Tooks, yeah? He wants McTominay rather than keep the kid Gravenberch. And he's even open to selling Gravenberch. Now, the same argument could be used for the Mason Mount situation. Look, Chelsea are happy to let him go. Why do you want to pay the money? So you can't just say blanket. As soon as one team puts a player as a castaway or puts a player as somebody that you don't want, it means they can't work at another club. That's not what I'm saying. But it is interesting that somebody who we deem as super surplus, it's so interesting that he could end up playing for Bayern Munich. Do you know how insane that is? We're potentially saying, I'm not saying this is the reason to keep McTominay, by the way. I'm just saying it as an observation. We're saying that a player like McTominay is not good enough for us, and we want to move on for him. Fred McTominay, McFred, all of that stuff. We want to break that up. And he could end up at Bayern. That's insane. Football's a crazy sport. I'll tell you that. Football's a crazy sport. Because if he ends up at Bayern playing with bloody Harry Kane and flipping Gnabry and Musiala and flipping Kimmich and whoever else, then you say to him, brah, how have you done that? You've gone from hardly getting a kick for Man United to playing in one of the best teams in Europe. Do you know what I mean? And Desmond says, yeah, Scott is good. Sanka says, I'm saying keep Scott. He's a future captain, says Sanka. Relax. Gravenberch is overrated, says SRK. Do you know what? For reading the chat versus the poll, the maths ain't mathing. I'm not going to lie, because 87% of you guys in 8 minutes are saying yes, do it. But when I read the comments, a lot of you are like, I don't know. Sam Let's Go says, I don't get the hate for Scotty as well. Few super chats here. Let's get those out. Pav says, how many games have people here watched to even make an opinion on Gravenberch? We should be signing both Gravenberch and Amrabat and keep Scott. We need depth. Pav makes a good point. Just a question. And I'm included in this as well. This is why maybe I'm not saying 100% get him, this, that, and the other. I haven't watched Gravenberch loads. I haven't. I'm not going to profess to. I've seen bits of him. Obviously, I've seen highlights of him. I've seen, compilations and things like that. I've seen him at Ajax a couple of times. But would I say I've seen a big enough sample size to say he would definitely hit it off in the Prem? I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he definitely wouldn't. I think he's talented. I think he's got a good ceiling. And you saw from people who know him way better than we do in Ajax and Sarkby yesterday, speak it last night, saying what they think about him. But the key thing was he's going to need time. Don't expect him to come in and fix everything. And I think we do that at Man United a lot as fans, because there's been a lot of things broke. There's been a lot of things not working. We always think one player, or we always get worked up around one player and think that they're going to come in and change absolutely everything. And sometimes, that can be the case. One player is so influential. We saw it with Martinez last year. We saw it with Casemiro. Players can do that. But we do. Now we're in a bit of desperation where we're looking at the midfield going, I'll tell you what, we think this is pretty shit. Now we're looking for somebody to come in and just change it all. And that might not happen. So I see what you're saying there, Pav. Lil Yo-Yo, been a member for 12 months. Big up Lil Yo-Yo, as always. Says, don't know who to believe on Amrabat. Luckhurst, who's briefed from the club, or Italian journalist who said he's agreed personal terms. Out of 10 Fleck. I'll leave that one there for a little bit, Lil Yo-Yo, because I'm going to get to Amrabat later on in the show. But I get it. He is linked to this chat, I suppose, because, talking about midfield. Abraham says Amrabat and Gravenberch, and that's the thing. Also, what would this impact have if we did get Gravenberch on loan? Does that have impact on also getting Amrabat, which I know Samuel Luckhurst has basically said that's unlikely, or people at United have said that's unlikely. I don't know. I don't know, to be honest, what kind of impact that would have. But a lot of people are saying, nah, mate, get both. Both is what we need. If we only get one of them, maybe it should be Amrabat. That's another question for you. Put what player you want. If you had to pick one, would you rather get Gravenberch or Amrabat? Forget the price. Forget whether it's loan or sale or purchase. Yeah, who would you rather? Or is it a case of you just want both? There you go. There's your options. Both Amrabat or Gravenberch. Which one is it? United Spotlight comes straight out of the bat, says Amrabat. Steph, big up Steph. She says Amrabat. What else are people saying? Let's have a look. A lot of people saying Amrabat. I think there's more Amrabat. Manish says Amrabat. Amrabat any day, says Wasik. We're going to have to do a poll. The people have spoken. Right. So basically, that's unanimous there. That's across the board. 85% of you guys want to sign Gravenberch on loan. Who would you prefer? Yeah. Let's go for that. Prefer. There you go. Start a poll. Let's go. Let's add an option. So let's say Amrabat. Let's say Gravenberch. Or both. But I feel like everyone's just going to go for both. I feel like I shouldn't put that because everyone's just going to say both, really. But let's do it anyway. Bit of fun. Who would you prefer? There you go. There you go. Amrabat, Gravenberch, both. Let me know. Let me know what you say. What would I prefer? Both, to be honest with you. But if I could only choose one, I'd say Amrabat. And Noel says Amrabat because it's easier to spell. That's not the reason, but I would probably say Amrabat. But we do need both. I do agree with that. Kenny Fan TV. Is that Kenny as in Kenny? Kenny Fan TV. Both flex. We need midfield depth. We absolutely do. Oh yeah, they said don't put both because it's true. Everyone's going to go for both, really. Let me have a look straight away. Yeah, both for 60%. Maybe I should have left out both in it. Well, do you know what? I'm going to end that poll. And I'm going to do it properly. You're right. Let's take off that. Tell you what, the polls aren't polling. Owen's going to think this is a disgrace. The polls aren't polling. And the start wasn't starting. There you go. Amrabat or Gravenberch. There you go. Just choose now. Who would you prefer? There you go. No cheating now. We've taken off. You lot are spoiled. Kenny is my nickname, Flex. My real name is Sachiv. No way. That's insane. That is insane. Right, we've taken it off. Everyone get involved. Amrabat first, then Gravenberch. Donny never got a chance, someone's saying. Being muted, then giving the chat both option. You can tell Flex needs Owens. I need him. And do you know how funny it is when you deep it as well? Because when I first started the channel, when it was just me, for the first few weeks, and everything's on you, and then when you go long periods without just holding the fort yourself, you forget. You get rusty. Maybe I should have a week without Owen until Thursday, yeah, and just sharpen the knives. Again. Just get back at it. Do you know what I mean? Big up to Owen. Listen, Owen had a late night last night. He had a proper late stream. He was on AEW. You know, they had their sold out stadium show. Then something else happened as well, where they were fighting backstage. So we had to do a piece on that as well. It was a mad thing. I can't go a week without Owen, says Love. Absolutely. Neither can I, to be honest with you. Owen's not in jail, Steph. He's not. Sharpen the chicken bones. So to finish off on Gravenberch / McTominay, I'm for it, but I don't think it will fix everything. And my concern would be that it would put us in a position where we probably wouldn't get Amrabat. And that's an issue. That's a big issue. I've caught up on all the super chats. Where are we on the likes? Where are we on the housekeeping? Let's have a check. So we've got about 1,300 people watching, just over, and just under 200 likes. So come on, you lot know what to do. You lot know what to do. I'm not gonna harp on about it, but you lot know what to do. Let's move on to Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire. Now, we thought this would just be done. He dug his heels in. There were reports the first time he was interested in West Ham that actually he wasn't interested in West Ham. It was West Ham trying to get him. Man United had accepted a 30 million deal, and it looked like all but needed to be sorted out was personal terms. And that was an issue. And he also said, according to Maguire's camp, according to reports, that his camp said he's willing to stay and fight for his place. And with the biggest respect to Moyes and West Ham, he didn't want to go. But since then, i.e. right up until yesterday evening, Sky Sports News are reporting this. West Ham are considering whether to go back in for Harry Maguire. They are exploring a loan deal. It is thought that they are exploring a loan deal for the centre-back and would like him to sign instead of paying a big fee up front. And Fabrizio Romano came through and said in the last 24 to 48 hours, Harry Maguire has become open to a loan move. Manchester United are not keen on a loan right now. Absolutely not. And they would prefer a permanent move to bring in a replacement. I mean, I don't even need to put this as a poll of would you want Maguire to leave on loan? And do you know what? I don't normally do this where you speak for everyone, but I feel like I should speak for everyone. I feel like we're all on the same page here. Let me know if I'm not in the chat. But we are surely all on the same page that a loan deal for Man United to let Harry Maguire go means absolutely nothing for us. In fact, that would be worse. That would be worse because if we loaned him out, right, they'll compensate some of his wages, but it would not put us in a position to be able to go and buy anybody else. So then we're just going to be light. Or you're saying you're getting Harry Maguire out on loan because he's decided now actually he isn't going to play and he wants to go. And then you're probably going to sign Johnny Evans, which that's probably going to get made official any day soon. Let's be honest, we're going to sign Johnny Evans, aren't we? Don't get me started on that, but we are. And then he's going to be the replacement for Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans. Like, you couldn't write it. You couldn't write it because now we're in a position where we're saying, do not let him go on loan. That does absolutely nothing for us. But then we're saying if he stays, we ain't going to use him. He's got to be sold. He's got to be sold, man. And how? And I would love to know the thinking of why all of a sudden he wants a loan. I'll tell you why. Because he's going to get the same wages. He's going to get probably the same wages because he's going to have to be subsidized between Manchester United and West Ham to keep him on his, I don't know, what's he going to be on? 190 a week, maybe 200? I don't know. Surely he's Man United captain. So he's going to be on a big chunk. Let's just say my ballpark figure, I'm just going to guess at about 200K. Yeah. So he's refused to take the permanent wage cut by going to West Ham. Let's break down the timeline here. That's what he's done. Yeah. Then in the first couple of games, well, he wasn't in the squad for the first game against Wolves because of an injury. On the bench against Spurs, right? And obviously was on the bench yesterday against Forest. What's the game where? Yeah, because he wasn't available first game of the season, was he? There was a game he wasn't available in. I can't remember which one it was. But so Martinez, that was it. No, I think it must have been Spurs because Martinez got subbed at halftime against Wolves. And then Lindelof came on, didn't he? Then at Spurs, okay, Martinez and Thingy played. And then the other day, it was Tottenham. And then the other day, Lindelof comes on again. And so Ten Hag's made it abundantly clear. So what's changed in them 3 games? What has he gone? Shit, I'm actually not going to play. It ain't that. It ain't that he's gone, shit, I'm not going to play. It's that he's probably gone, I tell you what, I will play at West Ham. And if I push for a loan, then I get to keep my wages and I get to play. And that just absolutely destroys our plans. Leaves us with no money to be able to go and get someone else. It leaves us with that or Johnny Evans basically replacing him, which doesn't really help. And it helps West Ham because West Ham just got Kudus in as well. West Ham would be able to come back in and loan Harry Maguire and pay maybe because they're not going to buy him. We'll pay the bulk of his wages. Lil Yo-Yo says, what if it's an obligation to buy? Now, again, yeah, okay, you're going to guarantee that he has to go for a certain price next year, but it still don't help us now, bro. I'm pissed off about the here and now. What was supposed to happen during this transfer window was we were supposed to sell players that aren't good enough or Ten Hag doesn't want. We knew the list of players. We knew who the most sellable assets were. And that was Dean Henderson, who's now gone for 15 plus 5. Fred, who's now gone to Fenerbahce, I think it is, yeah. It was Scott McTominay, who is and Aaron at the moment, and now he might leave on loan. It was Donny van der Beek. That's the 4. That's the 4 most sellable assets. Yes, you're going to chuck Brandon Williams in there and Tellez and Bailly and those guys, but let's be honest, they're not going to get us big money. It was Maguire, McTominay, Fred, Donny, and Henderson. And if you're looking at who's going to get the biggest amount of money, if you was to sell McTominay, it would probably be him. You know, between him and Maguire, they would be the top. They would be the top. Henderson and Donny probably about a par, 15, 20 million. Do you know what I mean? So if it is an obligation to buy, all right, cool. You're signing up West Ham to have to buy him next year. Cool, I get that. That's good. But for now, where's Todibo? Where's the new young up and coming centre back so we can actually kick this squad on? I'm tired of us just having stopgaps all the time. I'm tired of us of not planning. And not all of this is on Ten Hag. Not all of this is on Ten Hag. I was talking to someone yesterday at the game. I keep saying yesterday. I was talking to someone on Saturday, someone at the club, and they were saying as well that like a lot of this is not on Ten Hag. Like me and Owen always talk about the sins of the past. We always talk about how Ten Hag has to undo players on big contracts that Ed Woodward and Ollie or whoever it was, sometimes even Jose, whatever, put players on big contracts and you can't shift them. It always happens at Man United. Let's put ourselves in Harry Maguire's shoes right now, yeah? I know we don't really want to hear this, yeah? And I get that. We don't want to hear this at all, right? But let's just think of it from the player's perspective. And this is why we always end up in a situation where we're effed and we're begging players to leave and can't get rid of them. If you're Harry Maguire, you've got probably a couple of years left on his contract, right? And you're on big wages, and you've been Man United captain, and you get to play for Man United. So if you're not being used, or someone says, I want to move you on, you have the power to dig your heels in and say, well, I'm going to stay for as long as possible here. I don't care if you're not going to use me. It does depend on the player. If the player's got a little bit about them, of course, you're probably going to say, oh, I want to play football. I want to prioritize that. But when it comes to money and security and things like that, this is these guys' careers. They got families to feed. And I know you can say how much money they need. They're a millionaire. But I don't care who you are, how rubbish you are, what's gone on at a club. Money's always going to be a big factor in the decisions that you make. And there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. When you talk to ex-players, when you talk to agents or people in the game, or even some current players you might speak to, or know of or talk to, yeah, you hear about things that go on behind the scenes at football clubs, and crazy stuff happens. I'm telling you, we're fans, so we're emotive. We're like, you're not good enough, so get out. Like what? Like you should want to go play football. What are you happy sitting on the bench here when the manager doesn't rate you, when you're 4th choice centre back, maybe 5th, maybe 6th choice centre back, whatever it is. We think of it from a purely football situations, but from players' perspective, they're saying when I leave Man United, yeah, the only way is down. Very few players leave Man United and go on to bigger and better things, i.e., go on to Barcelona or Real Madrid. Or in Scott McTominay's case, maybe Bayern Munich. But usually, when you get sold from Man United, unless you're exceptional, yeah, you usually go down. And that's so for a player, you have to say, I want to stay in this environment under these conditions for as long as possible. I want to ooze every penny. out of this. So if you want me to leave Man United, you want to sell me, I'm going to dig my heels in and give me my £7 million, whatever it is, even if it's 1 million short. No, I'm not accepting 6. Where's my £7 million? Now we're saying Harry Maguire, greedy, just take the 6 million. No one even wants you, etc., etc. But that's his prerogative. We put ourselves in that situation. When Ed Woodward and Ollie sat in a room and said, let's sign Harry Maguire and put him on this deal, let's give him a contract extension. Wait, did Maguire get an extension, or is this the same original deal? I think this is the same original deal, you know. Someone put that in the chat. Maguire hasn't received a contract extension. I'm almost 100% sure that this is the same deal. It's just a long deal. Didn't they give him like a 5-6 years? I think this is the same deal. I don't think he got an extension. Yeah, it's the same deal. So when they gave him that big ass contract and made him the most important football player at the football club, right, and made him captain, you gave Harry Maguire all the cards. Now he's been stripped of the captaincy, but one thing that stands longer than a captaincy is a contract. See, it's a 6-year deal. 6-year deal, maybe 7. Mad. Insane. So really, we have to hold that, peeps. We have to hold that. The fact he's digging his heels in and pissing us off, it's our own fault. It happens to us all the time because what do? Make stupid decisions, give players big contracts who don't deserve it. And then when we want to move them on, they go, no. What, you think I'm going to reduce my wages by half because you gave me a 6-year deal? Nah, mate. I got a year left or I got 2 years left. Nah, I'm all right. In fact, furthermore, actually, here's one for you. Now I want to go on loan. And you don't want to use me, so what are you going to do? He's calling our bluff, taking the piss out of us. It's actually proper annoying, and that's what's happening here. At the beginning, when it was the sale thing, I was like, look, this is on us. This is our fault. I can get... You can criticize Harry Maguire because basically he is willing to basically, at that point, stay and not play. Quite happy to do it. Then you're thinking, when it was all but certain that he was going to go to West Ham, you're thinking that's because maybe Gareth Southgate's got in his ear. He's realised I actually do need to play. I can't stay here. I can't keep doing this. That's an issue for me. But then when it came down to the money not being an issue and him staying, but now he's interested in a loan, that tells you it was all about money. That's the conclusion I'm coming to. He's happy to go on loan now because what happens when you go on loan? You still get your wages, bro. You still get your wages one way or another. Whether Man United are paying 60% of it and West Ham have to pay 40, whether it's 50-50, whether it's 70-30 in West Ham's favour, whatever it is, he's going to get 100% of his money. And guess what? He's going to get to play football week in, week out. So this is perfect for Harry Maguire. This is an even better situation than him being sold. And then there's an obligation to buy as well at the end of it. Well, maybe there is. Lilio was just suggesting that. So I'm fuming at this whole situation. And you know what? Now it comes down to, and I ask you guys, and I don't even know what the answer is here. Well, actually, maybe I do. Is it better to let him go on loan so that he's just not part of our squad anymore, or keep him because we're not going to get any money for a loan anyway? It's actually insane. We're in such a shit position. We're contemplating whether we should say no to a loan deal because it doesn't do anything for us and doesn't give us money to replace Harry Maguire. So then we're saying, but keep him, and he's never going to play. It's lose-lose. It's lose-lose. I'm getting worked up on a Monday morning, man. Seriously. Lil Yo-Yo says, don't know who to believe. Oh, no, I will come back to that. Shunak says, G'day, Flex. It's criminal that Maguire has the ego of a Maldini and the ability of a, well, Maguire. We need to get rid of this mentality. But Shunak, I hear you. I hear you on that. But you say you need to get rid of him. But how would you get rid of him now, bro? Would you just accept the loan then? So we're basically saying that's worse. I know we don't want Harry Maguire to play, but we're going to be contributing to his wages when he ain't on our books for this season. And then let Johnny Evans come in and not get a younger up-and-coming centre-back because we've got no peas. Let me know what you think about that, bro. Lil Yo-Yo says, Mr. Maggie Cube is shook of his own ability to make those earnings back. Take the risk and make more in the long run. To me, he thinks it's down from here. Absolutely, he does. VK says, all this balancing is to protect the dividends Glazers want. Having missed the last dividends, they might want doubles. No sale, no more incomings. Exactly. You look at the wages that a lot of our players are on. It's insane. It really is. we shoot ourselves in the foot by giving big wages to players. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And this is just in interest of fairness here. This ain't just picking on Harry Maguire. Jadon Sancho hasn't been good for a couple of years, yeah? Say someone wanted to come in and buy Jadon Sancho. He's on like 350 grand a week, isn't he? Something like that. 300 grand a week. Big contract. How are you going to shift that? How are you going to shift that? You know? These are the things you got to look at. These are the things you have to look at when you want to do that. Casemiro, I'm not saying we should sell him or anything like that. Of course not. He's wicked. But I'm just saying, when it comes to, say, in a couple of years, what did we do? We gave him a 5-year deal, I believe. So we've got Casemiro for about another 4 years. Let's just say, for argument's sake, I'm not saying it's going to happen, something happened with Casemiro and you're like, I don't know, man. We can get Frankie de Jong now, or we can get this player. Let's try and sell him. He's going to be 32. He's going to be on, again, best part of 300 grand a week. And he's going to have the best part of 2-3 years left on his deal. These are the situations we always put ourselves on. So I know that, big players cost big bucks. I get it. But our success rate, our strike rate, our conversion rate of these types of deals are shocking. Lukaku, Pogba, to name, the biggest two of like big money moves. Alexis Sanchez. I know that the transfer fee wasn't that much because it was late in January and they had to sort it out. I think he had 6 months left in his deal, didn't he? But the wages that we paid him, what was it? 400 grand a week we gave Alexis Sanchez? £400,000 a week. Di Maria, another one. Like, again, sins of the past. Sins of the past. And then players, before you know it, can take the absolute piss out of us because they can. Because they can. Do you know what I mean? It's, they have the power. We give them the power when they've done nothing to deserve it. And then in a year, 2 years, sometimes even 3, we go, shouldn't have done that. Want to move you on. And they just give it that. Do you know what I mean? Let's get some of the comments out. Brian Flex says, this is what Maguire wants. Have a cake and eat it. No sale in the reversal bench. No playing time, no caving in. Exactly. 100%. Cass will go to Saudi in a few years. Yeah, do you know, I could probably see that. To be fair. Sean says, next summer, Saudis will take Varane and Casemiro if he's not bucked up. Sancho. Saudis would take Casemiro. Saudi to rescue Casemiro. Yeah, from what I was saying about Casemiro. That's true. Now you've got this Saudi league, then, there's a lot there. Falcao, another one, gave him big P's as well. But Barabaro says, Aston Villa have a better team than us. Man United can't compete with Villa because the owners mismanagement. Aston Villa's team's good, but I wouldn't say it's better than us. Maybe Maguire is waiting for a Saudi offer too, Flex. I don't know about that. I don't think he'll be going Saudi. Let me end this poll here. Wow, clearly, when I put it down to who would you prefer, Amrabat or Gravenberch, 86% of you say Amrabat to the 14% that say Gravenberch. So that was easy. 2 polls down. 1,600 people watching. Where are we at with the likes? 300. Guys, let's get to 5. Let's get to 500. Can we do that? Let's get to 500. We definitely could do that. It is Flex 100%. Let's go. I don't even understand what that means. Surely Cass is still in his prime, like everyone thinks next season also. I have to wait and see. We need Casemiro to, like I said, a few journalists have said he is a slow burner as well. He takes a while to get going. And we've kind of seen that, haven't we? We've seen that a lot with him. It took a while to get going last year. Same this year. Scored a good goal at the weekend as well, and was pretty good actually against Forest. I liked what he did. Let's move on to the next story. This is Amrabat. We have kind of spoken about Amrabat already, but this was the actual line. Amrabat unlikely. And this is according to Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News. He says senior figures have repeatedly insisted their interest in Amrabat has been overstated by Italian media. Club sources say if Amrabat does leave Fiorentina, it is unlikely to be for Man United. And here's the one that really made me laugh. This is such a Man United line, this one, isn't it? Amrabat is one of 10 midfielders Man United have tracked. You couldn't write it. Well, you could write it. If I said get your notebook out and write down stupid lines of Man United during transfers window, it would be monitoring, are aware of, appreciate X, or something like that. One of 10 that we're looking at. It's a typical Man United thing. And a lot of people have been talking about this online. Who do you believe? You know what I mean? People put up that quote of Fabrizio when he put "We'll see who lied" or something like that. Who do you believe? Because according to Samuel Luckhurst, he's spoken to people at Man United, and they're playing it down. Is it a ploy? Are they playing it down on purpose? Because let's look at this timeline as well. This would be a massive. There's two things to this. It could be the classic media side where the Italian media are pushing this and saying this, and Man United's name is just being linked to get the player to somewhere else. Or Man United could be playing it down because they don't want to show that they want Amrabat. But it's weird because this Amrabat signing isn't really a transfer that needs massive resources to do. You know, up until yesterday, we were seeing that he was available for 30 million euros. And then the latest development yesterday was that actually Fiorentina potentially have dropped their 30 million asking price and would consider basically whatever's offered to them. Because he's a player that they basically see as what he's made his mind up. He wants to leave. He hasn't been part of preseason plans. I don't know if they've played yet this season, but I think they might have played one game. I think they played one game in Serie A so far. And he wasn't involved. So this is a player that has made his mind up that he's leaving. It looks untenable at Fiorentina. It looks like he has to leave. But what does that look like? I mean, if Man United are saying that they're not in for him, that would be typical of us to potentially be told that we're tracking this player all summer to then end up with only Gravenberch. Yeah, show says Amrabat will go to Napoli or Galatasaray. I did read that Napoli were interested in him as well. I don't know, man. We need Amrabat. Oh, they've had 2 games there. We need Amrabat. We do. We need a player like that. And again, even if Amrabat just comes in, he ain't going to be it. We need our midfield to work. We need our midfield to gel. And we've spent a big outlay on Mason Mount, which for the first couple of games obviously didn't look good. He looked good in the first 30 minutes against Spurs. Definitely would say that. But I think the large chunk of the 2 games, you know, the whole midfield looked off. And we need that physicality in there. And Amrabat gives us that. Absolutely gives us that. So for me, we have to get him. But it would be a big shame if all of a sudden, after all of this, after tracking him the whole summer, so all we've heard, Amrabat. And it has been, to not get him would be embarrassing. And it has been weird that as soon as we got Højlund done, there wasn't this sense of urgency, was there, to go tracking down Amrabat. And then the reason that was being held up was outgoings. We're waiting to sell players. You know, Harry Maguire wouldn't go. So we thought that if he went, we'd be able to get another defender for the best part of £30 million. That didn't happen. So that stopped us. McTominay, apparently, you know, we wanted more for him, for McTominay. So that got blocked. So he didn't go to West Ham. Donny was supposed to go to Sociedad. That hasn't happened. He's still here. We need something to happen in the last, 5 days of the window, 4 days of the window, whatever it is. We need something to happen there. And only now has Dean Henderson gone, but 6 million of that money or whatever it is has been used on the second goalkeeper coming in by Ender. So we're just scraping the barrel here. But surely with Henderson gone, you know, I know they had to use a little bit of that on the new keeper, but we should have enough to be able to go for Amrabat now. And it still isn't happening. Is Amrabat not going to come out until we... Is he not going to... are we not going to try and get him until we definitely sell Donny? Is that what it is? Until maybe McTominay goes, but McTominay, the only situation that's happening with him, like we spoke about, is loan. So I don't know what's going to happen here. Ideally, I don't know why we can't get both. If you don't want McTominay, you can definitely just say that we can see that the swap's on for Gravenberch. Fine. And then there's money still. It's still as you were for Amrabat. Nothing really changes. If Donny goes, I think we'll get Amrabat. Surely they can't use the fact that a loan is going to stop us from being able to buy a midfielder. We always wanted to buy a midfielder. The loan situations just come about as a bonus, really. Do you know what I mean? Unless they do something like it's a loan with an obligation to buy. But right now, I don't see much that's changed. We always needed to get Donny out to be able to go and get Amrabat. That always needed to happen. Or sell McTominay. And now, exactly, Tabasol says Donny will be a loan. But most of the Donny situation was a loan as well. Loans don't help us. I don't understand, like, this whole thing of, like, us loaning any players out. Any of these players that we need gone, especially the ones now that are our most sellable assets that we can actually get a fee for, they don't help us. It don't help us. Like the other players who were surplus, who were just never going to be part of it, Tellez, Brandon Williams and Eric Bailly. Even those players, like, I know Brandon Williams has gone on a loan, but he's not going to come back and get into the team. So he's going to have to find somewhere to go permanently. Eric Bailly, okay, they're trying to get him out there. I think it's Marseille trying to get him now. And obviously, Tellez is done already. But these weren't players that could go out on loan. They got no future at the club. And on top of that, they don't command big transfer fees. The other ones, on the other hand, that we've been talking about, they got no future at the club, but they demand decent transfer fees. So why on earth would we agree to a loan for Maguire? Why on earth would we agree to a loan for Donny? We need to put our foot down, right, and say no, sale. But then that's when I suppose the thing that I've been talking about the wages, when the buying club says, well, I can't afford that. I can't afford that. We can't afford them wages. And we can't afford a transfer fee on top of that too. Do you know what I mean? That's just how it's going to go. So I don't know, man. This is typical United. The longer this window's gone on, when you deep it, yeah, we're now getting into a situation where the window's been crap. When you look at it, Mason Mount's out injured after 2 games. Not his fault, I'm just saying. And 2 games where the balance was off. So there's a lot of work to do there. Rasmus Højlund's only just going to come back into the fold now against Arsenal, probably going to be on the bench. So we haven't seen him. Onana, fair enough. And then we got those ones in fairly quickly where you're saying, well, at least we've got 3 key positions. And all of a sudden, the narrative and the feeling around the window has changed because the players we were supposed to sell, we didn't sell. And now we're struggling with 4 or 5 days left of the window and looking at emergency loans. And then Luke Shaw gets injured and we're looking at another emergency loan. I'm not saying the Gravenberch one's an emergency loan, but because there's a deal to be done there and they want to loan him out, etc., and they would take McTominay, there's a deal to be done. But the emergency loan is more on this Cucurella, Marcus Alonso, Reguilon type because Luke Shaw's injured. So all of a sudden, the window is beginning to feel somewhat negative. It's beginning to feel, like always when we just don't get shit done. We've read that one. VK, have we read that one as well? Yeah, we've read all the super chats. I wanted to make sure that we did that. Members chats, I think there's a couple of those. There you go. Shunak, I know we've read that one. Oh, good. We're up to date. We're up to date with everyone's chat. What do you guys think, man? Am I going mad here? Because at the end of the day, we knew this would happen. And this is typical Man United. It always flipping happens. It's typical Man United. This time we started off all right. And you're thinking, I'll tell you what, by that middle chunk of the window, we'd got the 3 positions that we said we needed. We needed a striker. Yes, it wasn't Kane. Yes, it wasn't Osimhen. It's a young kid for a lot of money, which I don't think we should have spent that money on him. But we got a striker. We got a midfielder. But then we're all arguing over why did we spend 55 million on Mason Mount? That's now the new talking point. And it's only been a couple of games, but there's a few signs there where you can say, I'm not sure how that's going to work. But you have to wait and see. And Onana we're happy with. But then the rest of it, in terms of being acute, it's the same sins of the past that come back to bite us in the arse. Do you know what I mean? It's the same thing. And on the left-back situation, to keep it moving before I wrap up, I don't know. Basically, as Steph spoke about yesterday, we're now being forced to look at the lesser of 3 evils, is it? 4 evils, If you think about it from Cucurella's situation, I don't want to give Chelsea any more money. They don't need him. They've got 1 game a week for the whole year, apart from when the cups competition, the domestic cups come in, and they've got a bunch of kids who they can put in. So Pochettino will see him as surplus. And Chelsea, again, have been reported, yeah, we'll let Cucurella go, but only on our terms, loan fee. Going to have to pay something for him, and he's on big wages. Same way I was laughing at West Ham or looking at West Ham to say they would have to subsidise whatever Harry Maguire's is. It's the same way we'd have to do that for Cucurella. That would be big money. Sergio Reguilon, crap at Spurs, not very good. Came with a lot of hype, not great, not great. But I'm in the position now because clearly, I mean, there was some reports yesterday that Alvaro Fernandez is still going to go on loan to Granada. He don't rate him. He doesn't think he's ready yet, you know. And if Ten Hag doesn't think he's ready yet, then so be it. But you know, he had a great season last year on loan at Preston. He was good in pre-season. Why are we not giving him a try? And what's really concerning is that we've heard absolutely nothing about when Malassi is going to be back, by the way. And the fact that we're trying to get an emergency loan for a left back shows me that Malassi is going to be out for ages, I think. And if Luke Shaw's going to be out to November, then yes, of course, we definitely do need someone because you're not going to let it be Alvaro Fernandez. And then we're in big trouble, big trouble if Dalot gets injured. So we are now in a position where we do need to look at the lesser of those evils. Marcos Alonso, I mean, Jesus. I don't know. I don't even want to think about these players. That's how pissed off I am. We're now in a position where we won't let the Alvaro Fernandez kid play, even though he deserves a chance. And I know you can say, well, the coaches know, we gas up young players a lot. But how much worse can he be than bringing in Reguilon? How much worse can he be, than bloody Cucurella? I don't know. Some people were, let me know actually. Some people were having Cucurella. Some people were saying, look, year before last, because Chelsea were crap last year, but, was he Brighton's player of the season or he was fantastic at Brighton? Even when he was at Brighton, I didn't, again, buy into the hype. You can't always, just because these players do well in a certain system, a certain style at a certain club, that all of a sudden that means they're way better than we think that they should play for us. I don't think Cucurella is very good. I don't think he's a good defender. I don't think he can defend well. I've seen it. Yes, he's okay on the ball. And again, and I might be being a bit pedantic here, but because he's got the bobbly hair, it's going everywhere. He look like he's busier than he is, mate. He ain't doing jack diddly squat. He ain't good. He's just all right. Do you know what I mean? I don't see it, man. We got a guy with long bobbly hair and Fernandez. Play him. Honestly. Ghost says, however, look at Basuma now. Yep, the reins are off him. I get that. And for every argument that's been made, there is an equal argument that, Cucurella just needs a new lease of life. It's gone wrong for him at Chelsea, etc., etc. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just don't rate him. I don't. But if I had to choose between him, Reguilon, and Marcos Alonso, I probably would say Cucurella. I probably would say Cucurella. What would you lot say? Because this is awful that we got to talk about this, but we do have to. Out of the evils, out of Cucurella, Reguilon, and Marcos Alonso, who would you choose? Considering though, actually no, who would you just choose on ability? Because also, if we do choose Cucurella, it is a financial situation. There you go. Chelsea are going to demand peas. And you know what? There's something about Chelsea where they're just sitting so smug now, where they're watching Arsenal fans. They've robbed Arsenal all the way to the bank for Havertz for £65 million. There's a case that they might have robbed us. We're still debating with it amongst ourselves, but what's going on with Mason Mount for 55 million quid? Stop helping them. Don't help them. Stop giving them money. I mean, look how well they've sold players and got rid of players this year. This is what they do. Ashley Young says Sanko. Well, he's gone to Everton. He ain't going to come to us. I would have taken Ashley Young as a short-term option. Absolutely. I would have taken Daley Blinn as well as a short-term option over any of these. Reguilon, 45k wages. Neva, rather keep Dalot and Fernandez. Cucurella, Estepinian, no point talking about him. Reguilon, they're all poor options. Cucurella will bring back Fellaini vibes, only if he gets a haircut. Alonso's the cheapest, says Almac. Alonso, because I don't want too much competition for left back, says Joe Blackman. Because also, this is a short-term fix. You spend a big amount of money on bringing Cucurella for the year. What happens when Luke Shaw comes back? What happens when Malacia gets back? Then we're going to be stacked and have 3 left backs. Cucurella, the next Fellaini with his hair. Alonso can get a lot of goals, underrated, says Sankar. Cucurella is lame. If we sign him, we're done. So it is fairly mixed. It is fairly mixed, but I just wish we could find situations within the squad, but it doesn't look like we are going to do that. So there you go. Anyway, guys, come to the end of the show. Big up to everyone getting involved. Big up to all the comments, all the super chats, all the members chats. It's been a top show. Rocky start. Rocky start, mate. When Owen's not here, you lot know this. Things don't always go to plan. I'll tell you that for free. They don't. But we made it through. We made it through and enjoyable. I do like doing solo streams. I don't get to do them a lot. So it's nice to be with you guys and to have fun and to connect. But Man United, do you think we're going to do business in the last few days of the window? We have to. We certainly do have to, because right now it isn't good enough. McTominay, Gravenberch, keep an eye on that. Let's see how this Harry Maguire thing plays out. They better not loan him. It does absolutely nothing for us. And also, let's see what happens with the left-back situation. We've got loads of content coming for you guys this week, of course, in the lead up to the Arsenal game. So that means only one thing: we will be doing a lot of videos with the guys at AFTV. Some really good videos coming out. You guys are going to really enjoy it. I'm going to get you guys to be commenting, getting involved about how you feel about that game as well coming up. Arsenal next. Arsenal going through a few problems themselves as well, by the way. Not the same clinical Arsenal as last year. Do we have a chance? But then again, it's us on the road. So who knows? But look out for that content. We're at 424 likes as I'm on the way out. As I'm on the way out, closing the door, can you guys get us up to 500 likes on the way out for the stream, for the solo stream, for me? 500 likes on the way out. That would be great. Anyway, guys, take care. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Take care. Peace.